As they entered the structure, the sensors went wild. Gravitational fields fluctuated. Time itself seemed to bend. The inner architecture pulsed with fractal light, like neurons firing across a brain the size of a planet. Then, a voice filled the ship. Not from the comms, not from the air. It vibrated through them. "Travelers of the younger kind," it said. "We have waited for minds that can still imagine." Captain Holt stepped forward. "This is the exploration vessel Zephyr Reach. Who are you?" "We are what remains," the voice replied. "We are the makers, or what you would call them, but we are dying." Nilo gasped suddenly, clutching his head. When he lifted his face, his pupils shone like twin stars. His voice changed, layered, resonant, infinite. "My apologies," he said. "Our essence requires a bridge. Your companion's neural lattice was compatible." Reyes aimed his weapon instantly. "Release him." The being smiled through Nilo's face. "He is not harmed. He hears us as you do." Terran's breath trembled. "You're the makers? You built the lattice of the galaxy?" "We built what you see as creation's remnants," said the being. "We sculpted the early cosmos, guided gravity and light, but our work was flawed. We reached beyond equilibrium, and the universe began to reject us." A holographic projection filled the chamber, an image of a spreading distortion through the galaxy. Dark waves consuming stars, unraveling constellations. Sarah 9 analyzed the data. "Impossible. That wave matches the entropy spikes near the galactic rim." "You're saying?" "Yes," said the Maker through Nilo. "We call it the unraveling. The universe seeks to correct what we disturbed. It consumes all that bears our mark." "How long?" Holt asked quietly. "For 100 standard years, perhaps less." Reyes' tone was flat. "And you want us to fix your mistake?" "We cannot," said the Maker. "We are bound to our structures, our vastness now our prison. We need smaller minds, flexible, imperfect, unchained by eternity. You can move through the entropy fields where we cannot." "You need us," Terran said softly. "You need humanity." "We need hope," the Maker replied. Over the following months, the Zephyr Reach worked alongside the ancient constructs. Together, they traveled to 7 collapsing nodes, regions where reality itself broke down. There, the crew deployed anchor cores, each calibrated by living minds rather than algorithmic logic. 3 were lost, swallowed by space that no longer obeyed the rules of matter. Yet with each anchor, the unraveling slowed. At last, when they returned to the structure, Nilo's voice, or whatever spoke through him, was softer. "Weary. It is done. The decay is contained. For now." "And what happens next?" Terran asked. "You will remember," the Maker said. "And remembering is the first defense against oblivion." "Will you reveal yourselves to the rest of the galaxy?" Captain Holt asked. The being smiled faintly. "We have learned that revelation breeds destruction. Let us remain myth. You, however, will carry the truth." Years later, back in the ecliptic vault, Terran compiled her findings into a single encrypted record. The galaxy ignored her, of course. The scientific councils called it fictional cosmology. But she didn't care. Sometimes, alone among the spires, she could still hear the harmonics of the Makers, faint, like a cosmic heartbeat. And she knew. They were still there, within their lattice of stars, waiting for the day when the younger species would finally understand that myths are not lies. They are memories of truths too vast for the living to hold. Her final entry read simply, "The Makers remain, watching, waiting, and when we are ready, they will show us how to build worlds worthy of eternity." The harmonic spires of the ecliptic vault sang in frequencies only the Serati could hear. Archivist Terran Vale moved between translucent data pillars, her crystalline fingers tracing symbols written in light. The vault was the last bastion of remembrance, a repository of civilizations long turned to stardust. Today, her focus was fixed on a myth older than time itself, the Makers. The Makers were said to have sculpted entire galaxies, architects of reality who wove suns and shaped orbits like clay. Most scholars dismissed them as allegory. But Terran had discovered something no one else had noticed: resonant alignments in the distribution of ancient stellar anomalies. Patterns that could not be natural. Patterns that suggested intention. "You'll turn to glass dust if you keep skipping your rest cycle," a voice called behind her. She didn't turn. The voice belonged to Reyes Calder, her security liaison, a war-scarred Varian soldier encased in biomechanical armor. He had served on the vault for 2 rotations, both skeptic and guardian. "Reyes," she said, her voice carrying the hum of restrained excitement. "The coordinates between the Siltfield Nebula and the Typhon Edge show a harmonic overlap of 0.08. That's statistically impossible without engineered synchronization." He groaned softly. "You're suggesting these makers of yours left a breadcrumb trail in the structure of space itself?" "I'm saying," she replied, turning to face him, her eyes like shards of frozen nebulae, "they might never have left at all." Before he could respond, her console pulsed crimson. An alert, an anomaly had appeared, a gravitational void on the edge of mapped space. It fit perfectly into the harmonic pattern she'd spent her life decoding. A missing note in a galactic symphony. The expedition ship Zephyr Reach was designed for deep void research, fast, silent, and light years ahead of any vessel in the Serati fleet. The crew was small: Terran, Reyes, Captain Arden Holt, the ship's calm and calculating pilot, Sarah 9, an adaptive AI who handled navigation, and Nilo, a young astrophysicist replacing a fallen veteran. Their journey took them into the Umber Expanse, a region so dense with cosmic dust that starlight itself struggled to survive. As the Zephyr Reach entered the shadowed zone, all external light dimmed, and the silence of deep space seemed to thicken. "Approaching the coordinates," said Sarah 9. Her synthetic voice wavered slightly, a phenomenon Terran had never heard before. "Sensors detect structure. Massive. Active. And, Terran, it's responding to our scans." "Responding?" Captain Holt frowned. "How can a dead construct respond?" Terran's voice was barely a whisper. "Because it's not dead." The forward display resolved, revealing a vision so vast it defied comprehension. A structure the size of a solar system floated before them, its surface alive with patterns of shifting geometry. Pulsed as if breathing. Reyes exhaled sharply. "That thing's older than our species." Sarah 9's processor's word. Chronometric analysis estimates an age of approximately 3.4 billion cycles. Gravitational alignment suggests deliberate placement relative to the twin stars of this sector. It is drawing power, actively. "A living construct," Terran murmured. "It's one of them, one of the maker's works." Before anyone could respond, alarms flared. Sarah 9's tone sharpened. Multiple distortions. Unknown vessels emerging from folded space. From the void, colossal ships materialized. Sleek, luminous, silent. Each one bore the same living geometry as the megastructure. They encircled the Zephyr Reach in perfect synchrony. "Those are warships," Reyes growled. "And they're positioning us. Not attacking," Captain Holt noted grimly. "Guiding." Indeed, the ships shifted formation, opening a corridor that led directly toward the structure's vast central aperture. A gate of light and shadow. "Shields down," Holt ordered quietly. "We go in. No resistance. Let's see what gods want with mortals."